Hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and money color commentator. On today's show, Converting Qualified Monies to Roth IRAs, part 3 in our series on selecting between an IRA and a Roth IRA, sponsored by LifeSize Solutions and the Society for Financial Awareness. Welcome everyone to our third segment. We're going to talk about Roth IRA conversions. To know how to convert your Roth IRA the most effective and efficiently, you need to remember and understand how your tax bracket works in the years that you're doing the conversion. I am very much against converting Roth IRAs in its totality in any one year. The odds are extremely high that you'll push yourself into a bracket, some people even into two brackets. We call that bracket bumping. Our best issue is I do want to do Roth conversion if I can and take and recharacterize my taxable money into tax-free money. But I have to still take the medicine. I still have to pay taxes on it. So I want to be careful not to do it if it bumps me into another bracket. If I can get to clients early enough, I can amortize this maybe 3 years, 5 years, where I'm slowly converting over before we go into retirement. That's our end game to really keep the cost of conversion down. Traditional retirement accounts can be converted to a Roth IRA. Could be IRAs, individual retirement annuities, tax-sheltered annuities, 403Bs, 401Ks, SEP IRAs, SEPs, and simple IRAs, 457 plans if you work for the government. So there are a lot of options here that all this qualified money, which is taxable when you go to retirement, and on top of it is includable in the Social Security provisional income test for your Social Security benefits to get taxed. So you need to look at all these categories, figure out which one you're in, and is it worth making your conversion from qualified monies, which will be taxable in retirement, to non-qualified Roth IRA. You have to do the math. Is it worth doing? So what's the catch? Dollars within a traditional retirement account have not always been taxed. Well, that would be an understatement. Yes. So what's the catch? The untaxed dollars converted from a traditional retirement account, again, IRAs, 401Ks as examples, to Roths are going to generate taxable ordinary income in the year of the conversion. Again, let's just say you're in the $75,900 bracket. That's the low end of the 25% tier. If I'm in that tier and I can go ahead and make my conversion, I won't go outside my 25% for a long time because the next level up before I leave the bracket is $153,000 something change. So that makes it a positive thing to look at. But if I'm down below 75.9, I'm in the 60s, and I try to convert all my qualified plan in 1 year, I'm going to pop myself from maybe the 15 to the 25% inadvertently. So I have to determine what is my true effective tax bracket before I do any of this, and how many years do I have? Because if I don't have a limited headroom to make my conversion, I'll want to be able to spread this over 3-5 years so that I only pay what I'm paying now. I don't want to pay more. I want to pay the same, and sometimes if you do your taxes right, maybe even a little bit less. For example, a $100,000 IRA, 25% marginal tax rate. $25,000 is owed to the IRS, $75,000 in the IRA after taxes. When I look over here, the Roth IRA, the same 75 retirement is free. So when I'm looking at the idea of conversion, it's going to cost me, if I'm in the 25% tax bracket, am I going to pay that number? And again, if I have a $100,000 IRA and I'm in the 25% tax bracket, it's going to cost me $25,000 to move that money into tax-free and having my Social Security not be punished or taxed because of this. Again, to me, if I saw that number and I had headroom and I could do the conversion over years, I would do it all day long. I don't want to pay my bill any more than I have to. Some people say, well, if you're not going to bracket bump, why not go ahead and just pay this the way it is straight out? You're not going to pay any more. Because I don't know where Congress is going. So I want to pay the least amount. If I have 3 to 5 years, listen, in 2017, we already know what the brackets are. But Congress could change the rules of engagement and maybe even retro it back in 2018. I may be at a lower bracket. So I may want to wait. I don't want to convert it all 1 year. Generally, it puts me into bracket bumping. So even if it doesn't, I still want to look at this because I never know what Congress is going to do. A typical Roth IRA conversion. Will tax rates be higher in the future? If you think they are, yes, and I certainly do based on what I'll be talking about in the 5th segment, converting your retirement account to a Roth may be appropriate. Now, again, if we're going to convert over a slow, so that we don't pay any more in taxes, we're not going to push ourselves into a deeper bracket because of our conversion, I'm all over it. And if I can get this done, all my conversion of all my qualified money before I take my retirement, I'm now getting rid of required minimum distributions. I am now making my Social Security a lot better. I'm going to have it not as taxed as much because I've already taken care of this issue. All these issues, if I can stall to, especially I recommend, if you can stall retirement till 70 and a half, to age 70, your Social Security will be maxed. You will have converted all your qualified plans over to Roth slowly and easily. To me, that is a major plus, and you'll have more money in retirement just on the basis of managing your tax bill. Now, the impact of required minimum distributions versus Roth IRA with no distributions, you can see the difference. Traditional IRAs have required minimum distributions. So in this area, we're looking at a 70-year-old, $115,000 plus an IRA, 25% marginal tax bracket, and 5% yield on his product. He has a required minimum distribution at age 75 at $5,283. But I've already paid my taxes on the Roth over the schedule, and I have no taxes due because I don't have RMDs. So if I'm already in Roth and I've converted it all to Roth by the time I get out here, there's no real comparison because I'm not paying taxes. You might want to consider Roth IRA for a couple other reasons. Required distributions from a traditional retirement account may increase the taxes you pay on Social Security. I've been trumpeting this for about a decade now. I'm looking this all the time. If I have required minimum distributions coming out on my qualified monies, all of this money is going to go over to the provisional income test, and it's going to test my Tier 1 or Tier 2 taxable event, my Social Security. My job is to try to take all my qualified plans and convert them over some years without bracket bumping and make that money tax-free. So my Social Security, if I do it right, I might even be able to get all my Social Security free. Maybe. We'll just have to see the math. Distributions from a Roth IRA do not increase your taxes on Social Security benefits. Remember, there are 4 revenue areas here: reverse mortgages, Roth IRAs, withdrawals to basis and policy loans to gain on life insurance contracts, and HSA accounts as long as it's used for legitimate insurance premiums like long-term care, medical, Medicaid premiums, things of that nature, or actual legitimate medical expenses. So all that money comes out free, and none of that touches your Social Security. Is there a way to avoid passing the tax burden on to your beneficiaries? Well, again, current Roth IRA accounts, those even at 5%, age 65 for a Roth owner, and the spouse is 65, the son is 43, you can actually send this money on, and that money could, depending upon how you stretch the IRA, could really reduce your tax bill, and some of the beneficiary issues for a Roth could be free. It just depends upon your personal situation. So if you don't need the money, you need to look at traditional stretch IRAs in light of the new Roth IRA, because that might be actually right for you. I always want to look at what is going to be the best math. Remember, ultimately, retirement planning is 2 areas. Is it math? Is the math supported? Is it science? I always look at actuarial science. What is the longevity of the people that are involved? Mom and dad, maybe their children if I'm doing a stretch IRA. I need to know who's involved so I can plot the science of what I think is going to be their life expectancy. Once I have that down on a timeline, I can put math to this and say, is it better to convert this? Is it not? Is it better to stretch my IRA and give it to the next generation between myself and my son, or myself and my daughter, or myself and my wife? I want to be able to do things that are tactical. If they were going to get the money anyways, I was going to give it to them anyways, I might want to look at stretch IRAs to lower my cost. But if I go with Roth, I could actually go ahead and Roth this out and stretch it. I have no issues now because again, depending upon if I'm using an annuity or other product lines, I am able to send that money to the next generation. So to me, I just need to ask myself, is the Roth IRA right for me for the tactics that I'm trying to get done, which is I want to pay the least amount of taxes when I'm in retirement, and I want to be able to send the most amount of money to my beneficiaries, my children, my grandchildren, and the charity of my choice. Don't forget to watch our next segment on Roth IRA conversion options, part 4 in our series on selecting between an IRA and a Roth IRA. And keep in mind, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always check with your tax consultant, legal counsel, or financial advisor. You've been watching Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game.